Hey guys, it's Google7 again with another Rapier Spear build video. I will be showing you guys the updated build for the Brimstone patch in this video, and we will be taking a look at the changes that have been made during this patch that affects this build. Just so you guys know, the current updated build is still in testing. I'm still trying to figure out which rune glass is better, which ultimate ability is better, and so on. So regarding that, I will be either updating the spreadsheet that I just recently created for this build, or I will be posting another video in the future. Anyways, let's jump right in. For those that just want to see the current build, here it is. It still looks basically the same as last patch, but with a few different changes. So as you guys know, in this current patch, AGS has made it so Keeling power perks do not stay when swapping weapons and certain weapon perks. So in our case, with this build, we will not be able to use Fortify Perforate perk or Keeling power on our spear anymore because we use the Rapier as our main weapon. So these perks have become either optional or should be replaced with a different perk. So for this patch, I replaced a few of my pieces with new ones and still looking to replace my spear. I will be replacing the spear with perks like Skewer, Keenly Jagged, and Corrupted Bane as they tend to stay even if you swap weapons. Skewer will be used from now on because we will be needing it for survivability due to the Fortify Perforate nerf. This should still allow us to run less con when taking on mutated dungeons with this build. Keenly Jagged will be nice for additional bleed damage, plus in the next patch it will also charge our ultimate quicker, and this works great with our Bloodlighting Ring and all other bleed damage we have. For the gloves, I am now using Empowering Breaker. This perk increases our damage by 20% for 5 seconds once we are at max stacks. We can build these stacks by attacking enemies with shields. So this is a great way to build and power as the Rapier does not have any real sort of way to build and power stacks, and this should help increase our damage. For the amulet, I replaced Fortify Recovery for Empowered. Again, this will help us deal more damage by increasing the duration of our empowered stacks from the perk I mentioned earlier, Empowering Breaker and Omni Evade perk, for example. You can, however, replace the empowered for like flame protection, ice protection, or nature protection. So in mutations, you'll have a max of 28% elemental resistance with the new rune glass gems in the armor. So I recommend getting that extra 10% in the amulet so you can take less damage and still survive in mutations. For the stats, I am using 50 strength, 250 dex, 150 int, and 70 con in this patch. I recommend running at least over 50 con, especially for mutations in this patch, since they made them a little bit harder. For normal dungeons, you can always go less than 50 con since it's still the same. But for mutations, definitely go higher, and maybe you have to go even higher depending on the people you go with. So that's it for just the weapons and perks. So now let's take a look at the actual changes in the Brimstone patch with regarding to the ultimate and the rune glass. So as you guys know, AGS has added in rune glass casings in the Brimstone patch. Rune glass casings can be used for damage, life stealing, stamina, or like in any other way. You can only add these casings to your armor and your weapons. So for this build, we will be only taking a look at ways to increase our damage. So we will be taking a look at the rune glass of empowering. Empowered Rune Glass is attuned to the arcane element, granting a bonus arcane base effects. When applied to a weapon, it will inflict a hex dot equal to 8% of weapon damage as arcane per second for 2 seconds. On armor, it will increase our arcane damage by 2% per piece. So 5 pieces will give us additional 10% damage of arcane. We will be using these in this patch to increase our damage. So as we know, corrupted are weak to arcane damage, hence the reason why we previously ran sapphire gems in our weapons. So in this patch, we are going to be running Rune Glass of Empowering with sapphire gems in our rapier, using nature Rune Glass in the spear, and opal gems in the armor with the Rune Glass of Empowering. So this will provide us with more damage from our weapons and armor in this patch. I am, however, using Rune Glass of Nature in the spear in this patch because if you're using the same Rune Glass in both weapons, they do not stack when you're switching weapons. So I think it's better to probably run different Rune Glass casings in our weapons just for the additional damage. I just want to point out we are using opal gems in our armor with Rune Glass of Empowering because it will provide us additional elemental resistance for mutated dungeons. With opal gems slotted in the rune glass casings and 3 elemental gems slotted for our jewelry, We will be taking more damage in mutations because we are now capped at 28% elemental resistance versus the 48% we had before with normal gems in our gear. So for this, the solution is to run an amulet with a 10% protection. So for example, if you're running like a fire mutation in a M10 Tempest, you will have 28% protection. And if you ran the amulet, you have 38%. And that will almost bring you back up to like the 40% we had previously. So you can still run the Rune Glass of Empowering Casings in your armor for more damage and still have a bit of protection. The only downside for this is that you might need to have like 4 different kinds of amulets like Flame Protection, Nature Protection, Void, you know? So that might kind of suck. Anyways, now let's take a look at the ultimate ability. For the ultimate, I am using the Cunning Heartstone of Detonate. I am using this because you get the 15% increased damage during the charge up for the rune and additional explosion damage on top of that. This works well because of how fast the rapier hits. You should be able to get a full rapier rotation in before it explodes, otherwise like using a flurry alone during this part is also nice. You could however use the brutal heart rune of Detonate too. I just don't know exactly which one's better, so I picked the cunning one as a better option because you won't take the increased damage and plus you will do increased damage during the charge up cycle. Both of these runes deal additional arcane damage, so either way you will be dealing bonus arcane damage against corrupted from the rune as well. So that's another benefit of using the detonate rune. Before I end this video, another cool trick I want to share is, with this build, we can charge our ultimate ability really fast with how fast our abilities come off cooldown and how fast we hit. Apart from just hitting enemies to charge our ultimate, applying Tondo Bleeds, Skewer Bleeds also make our ultimate charge up quicker. So not only we charge our ultimate from simply attacking, but also from stacking the bleeds. So in the next patch, they're making it so Keenly Jagged and other perks also charge your ultimate. So it will be a lot quicker in the next patch if you ran like Jagged on your spear, for example. Well, I hope you guys liked the build. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask them down in the comments and I will try to reply ASAP. Anyways, thanks for watching and good luck and have fun. See ya.